All right, so to assemble these legs, they came out a little bit more complicated, but they should work really well. So these springs go onto these little red pins, they slide on, but only after they're inside of this assembly. So there's a hole there, and this red pin just drops down in there, just like that, and then I'm gonna just push it in. Okay. And it should seat really well down in there to where everything is flat and flush. The next thing that I would do, well, we'll see if this will work just like this. Okay, so this has these pins that integrate with these grooves. It's actually a twist lock function, so it slides in there and then it twists into place, so that won't come out. But we're gonna use that spring to just make sure that twist lock really stays locky. So we'll try to center this spring, and then we'll set this on there and get those pins aligned, and then just go ahead and press it all the way on and do that twist function. And so now it's spring loaded to where it'll stay locked. So let's see if we undo that, the spring stays inside there. So that's the goal, is to get that spring pressed onto that little red tab in there. So now when this sits inside onto the drone, that spring doesn't fall out all over the place. So okay, we've got that installed. Now this goes onto the motor mount. So the motors are held on by 4 screws onto the frame. And so what you do is you take the current pieces off and put these on instead. So the screw goes through here and up into the frame and into the motor. And I've provided new screws that are the right length. You can use the ones that you have already, but you need to make sure that the screws don't go in too deep and mess up the windings on the motor, right? They need to go into the motor mount portion, but not all the way up into the windings, or they'll create a short circuit. So I would probably install these into the frame, and then this goes together. So obviously I don't have a frame, so I can't show you it all on the frame, but you know, it goes into this groove, right? This part fits together, and then it's a pretty tight fit, which is on purpose. It gives everything structural, you know, stability and strength. But that screw goes in there, and then it screws in. Now it's pretty tight. It's going to take a little bit of effort to get it in there. You might have to push pretty hard, but yeah, it just screws in there. Let's see here. You can see it's very tight. This really doesn't want to do it. So I'm going to just grab a different one. You could lock yours. Mine doesn't have a lock function, but yeah, just lock it off and then just thread it the rest of the way through. And then it comes out here, and we're going to put a nut on it. So, you know, you set the nut in place, and then you just screw it in. So I'm gonna back this out just to where I get it just threaded straight, and then that's all there is to it. So I would probably thread lock this. I would thread lock the motors for sure, and then I'd probably also thread lock that. I'm gonna take it apart, so I didn't thread lock it, but I'll just hold it with a little needle nose and then just tighten it down because it's not tight yet. But that's how that goes together. And then your carbon fiber just presses up in here, and if you press it all the way, it'll be a tight fit, and I don't expect it'll fall out. If you're worried about it, you can glue it, but then if you break this piece, you're going to be sad trying to get it off of the carbon fiber because I gave you replacements. So you can always use something hot. You could use a saw, but you might ruin the carbon fiber. I would get, you probably don't have a soldering iron, but I'd get a hot piece of metal from a campfire from wherever, and you just kind of get that metal, like imagine this was really hot, and I would just start here and I would just work my way up, and that heat will melt this plastic and cut it. You might have to do it on both sides, cut it open, and then this part will just pop off. So then obviously you've got our spring, this is on the drone, and then this just slides in and twists into place, and now you've got a nice long strong carbon fiber leg.